My name is Scott Anthony. I own Punxsy Pizza in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. I'm there with the Groundhog and 6,000 people and 14 pizza shops. But I'm still the highest volume shop in Punxsutawney. So over the years, I've studied marketing and the kind of the psychology of it. And you may have seen some of my articles in Pizza Today magazine because I like to convey information to others and help them to be able to kind of figure out their market and see where they're going to stand. Today, there are just so many forms of marketing and so many ways to interact and connect with people that sometimes it's very hard for us to find which one is going to work best in your area. And we're going to try to look at some numbers, because numbers don't lie, and see how we can figure out a marketing plan for each of us, give you some ideas of what you could do, and then kind of proceed with it and see what kind of mix you need in your area with the ones you want to target. So we'll start off here. Oh, damn, it's just not going to work. Sorry. This is what happens when you have 5 minutes to set up because the former group doesn't leave. I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? All right, well, it looks like I'm going to be standing up here clicking slides. Yes, can I help you? Oh, wow. Nice little blonde girl in the front. Let's see if this works. Hey, thank you. Thank you, girl from Staples. All right, so when you're looking for the right marketing mix, you want to know who's really living in your area and who do you want to serve. So what I've done is I've been able to get maps such as this. This is for Hazleton, Pennsylvania. It's a pizzeria that I worked with, Frankie's Pizza House. And generally, each of us is only working in a 3 to 5 mile radius. That's about all the further that if you deliver that you want to go, and it's about all the further that anyone's going to drive to get pizza. So information like this can be found with your Chamber of Commerce. You can go online and look at census material. You can go to websites like City Data. I actually got this off of Velasas, if you're familiar with them. They do the marriage mail, which is like the junk mail that we throw away every Tuesday. And what it tells us is how many people live within this area. Now, this is for 1 mile from Frankie's location. She has 7,677 potential customers. So that's a pretty good number, but it's not like she wants to just do the spray and pray in the area. Because obviously they're probably not all qualified customers. You don't want the bottom feeders, the cherry pickers that are only coming for a discount. And most of us, I'm sure, are independents. And so we have to compete on quality and the value versus price. So we're not giving it away. So we need to market to people who have disposable income and are willing to spend it on a quality product. So as we further look into information like this, we can get a little bit more detailed. So you'll see here that in her market, in these different mailing zones, average age is right in the early 40s here. Percentage that have children, it's less than 50% have children, but look at the income levels. You're going 117,000 down to the 69. So pretty good income range there for a medium home. So she has a pretty good start there with just 1 mile. And if she works that mile and then maybe expands it a little bit, she's going to be able to build a pretty good database. Now generally, today, everybody's all chasing millennials who are only in the 30-something category. As we see here with Frankie, she's dealing with a little bit older people, but they still have the disposable income, and that's really the most important factor here. Sure, she's going to want to be able to reach some millennials, but we want to go with people that have money to spend. I guess I'm kind of in that age bracket too. And, you know, finally in my life, I can make decisions where our family goes to eat. I don't have to listen to my kids crying about, I don't like seafood and I don't like this and things like that. So I can make a decision. I have the money to go where I want to eat. And I'm also getting at the age where my wife's, you better watch what you eat, you're getting fat, you're going to have a heart attack, you're going to turn into your dad. So you want to go for a quality product and something that's good for you, not something that's made out of processed foods. And these are little marketing tips that all of us really should be putting into our menus, building these things in the message that we send out to people. And so for healthier foods, we all know that we're going to pay a premium price. So finding the right marketing mix. Who's the target? Do you want to go for families? Do you want to go for little kids? Or people with disposable income? Maybe mix it up, a little bit of both. And what weapon do you want to use to get these people? A lot of people do think that direct mail is dead. I personally do not feel that way. Because direct mail used correctly with a database, targeted, and timed when people have money can be very effective. For example, in Punxsutawney, let me take a drink here. In Punxsutawney, our median income is only $25,000. So at this time of the month, I would never waste my money on advertising. But at the first of the month, when everybody gets their Social Security checks or their EBT cards refilled, and 80% of Americans get paid on the 1st and the 15th, I know everybody in town has money, and that's the time that I'm going to advertise. So if I was going to invest in a direct mail marketing campaign, knowing my area, knowing when they have money, that's when I'm going to do some mailing or some door hanging. Social media can be a very good way to reach people too, and we'll show you some little tricks with that. And, is there a question, sir? What new mailer do I use? Which company do I use? I use Moving Targets. There's a whole bunch on the floor that you should, check them all out and see what works for you, but that's who I've been with for a few years. Email. A lot of people don't bother using email anymore either, since social media has become such a big thing. But people my age and older who kind of started using email back in the 90s when AOL was so popular, we've come to learn to trust emails way more than Facebook or any other kind of social media. So if you're in a market like we showed you with Frankie's there, that's dealing with people around 50, that's a very valuable asset for you. And so don't forget it. Collect those email addresses and make it work. And email programs, there's all kinds on the floor that you could do. I used to do my own email program. I just do it all myself. It's not that hard to do, but it is very effective. And I've always seen by just using Google Analytics that when I send out an email, I have higher response rates, higher ticket averages, my sales go up, and it points people back to my website. I can see the traffic with that, with online ordering. So it can be used effectively. So what ammo do I have? With everything that we do and send out, one of the most important things these days is to use good graphics. Has anyone ever had a photo shoot of their product? See, I'm seeing about a third of you. I don't know. How about the guy with the gray hat? What'd you pay for your photo shoot? About what? A professional photo shoot can go up to $10,000. So if you paid $500, that was probably one of the best investments you've ever made. If you can just trade with one of your customers to be able to get some decent quality pictures, then you can have great graphics built right into your email, things that you can use then on your social media, pictures that you can use when you build that menu on your website. And having those same graphics is all going to help bring your brand all together. And it's going to give people the idea that when they buy here, they're going to, this is, what you see is what you get. You're not looking at a stock image of some perfect pizza where every piece of pepperoni is exactly a 1/4 inch apart. You're looking at something that's real. And one thing that's happened in the world of photography since I first started, like menu design and things like that, is before we would have to hire a really expensive food stylist who would come in with the tweezers and Q-tips and paint the bun and put the lettuce in just one piece at a time, and everything had to look perfect. But through testing and different trials that we've done recently, we're finding that if you're an amateur photographer that only charges $500 comes in, and you make the best sandwich that you can make, even if it doesn't look perfect, if a little piece of meat fell out or off to the side, or you got some sauce over the edge on one side of your pizza, millennials are looking for people that are real. They want the real thing. They're not looking, and they're not easily fooled by people who put themselves off as a poser that's perfect. So you can get your own photography done. It's extremely important to get your own photography done rather than using stock photos. And if you've heard it probably 1,000 times at some of these seminars, people do eat with their eyes. That really captures their attention. The second thing is the offer. Do you have an offer in your messages that are going out? It could be just to direct them to try out our online ordering system, to stop in and say hi to an employee that's having a birthday, anything to connect people and make it a hospitable message, which goes along with the message there. I've taken a menu here. It's a PDF, one side of Mr. Jim's Pizza. He's in Wyoming, and he finds that this is a pretty powerful marketing tool. Here's the back side. And I'm just showing it this way because you put them together and fold it. It's a 4-fold, but this way you can see it. And what we've done is Mike Geyer, who owns Mr. Jim's in Laramie, Wyoming, has come to our seminar today, and he's graciously given us permission to ask him some few questions and just see what's going on. As I had said before, and this is Mike.
Hello.
As I had said before, a lot of people think that your menu doesn't carry a lot of power. But you can see even on Mike's menu, there's space left there for an address label. So Mike, tell us about the muscle that your menu has and how you can really use that as a selling tool.
Well, the biggest thing I found out was we mail 1,000 a week. I ran out of menus. My mailing company didn't mail them out. That's when I found out that I go down about 20-30%. So I didn't realize the importance of that. So I don't mess that up anymore. So the redemptions, if you flip it on the other one, everything that we do, I'm sure everybody else does it too. We do everything by code. So even those offers there, a lot of those are used. Those are combos. So they're not really just coupons. A lot of people use them to order. So we can track that.
Yeah, and Mike, I think you had previously told me that, one of the main reasons you do the menu mailing was to find new customers that don't know about you.
Correct.
A lot of people that do menu mailing will design a menu such as this, and it will not only be their mailing piece, but it can serve as a box topper for bounce back offers, and it'll serve as maybe a box hanger. And you print them nice enough, it can be your in-house menu too. So it can have a lot of purposes. Now, Mike, as we said, we're all competing probably against the big three, the chains, and so we don't want to be offering deep discounts. Why did you choose to put this strip of coupons on the side here?
I put the strip of coupons on because I have what's called combo meals when people come in and order. So they're not discounted that much. Anybody can look at the prices and you can put them together. I think $5 off is about as much as it goes on there. Some of those are like $1.50. The online order one is a deeper discount because I want to drive people on there. My in-store orders, my average ticket is $22. My online is $32. It's kind of crazy, and it's now 55% of my sales. So that started it, but I get people on there, and then now I got people that switch to online ordering. So my other these are starting to die, the other four. So it's making a transition.
Okay. I think what Mike said there bears repeating is that whether it's parents and kids and the parts that are the food that's included there, or pizza and wings, you have all the prices right here, but how many of you are going to take the time to add that up? You're not going to bother to do that. You're going to look at this and say, oh, it has a dotted line around it, and there's a pretty little headline, and the price is in bold, so it must be a discount. And that's exactly what you're going to order. And so in this way, Mike is giving the customer what they want, because whether we like it or not, the big three have sort of made our business a coupon-driven business. And Mike's not giving deep discounts like the big three do, but he is giving the customer what they think might be a big discount. And as he said, a lot of them are only $1 or so off. People that I work with, I recommend no more than 15%. When you start getting up around 20%, you're going into the deep discount zone, and it's a hard place to get out of when you start diminishing the value of your product. Now, Mike has a lot of other great ideas, and I know I want to talk about them. Mike, you have an email program. Can you tell us a little bit about how you use this? How do you gather the email addresses?
We gather them in store, but most of them over the past a couple of years have come from online ordering, because there's an opt-in it's an automatic opt-in. So we have for 3 stores, we have about 12,000 people on there active. I think I had 13,000, 1,000 drop off. I think that seems to be the norm. So, but he ran an article just like a month or two ago about email, or you put something up. It made me look at that. I didn't even realize that we were up to 12,000. And I didn't realize that the offers, if you look on there, all of them have a code on there too. So I found out that I was redeeming more of those than I was anything else.
And once again, Mike, I think your area is a little bit like mine, although I'm sure you have more than 6,000 people, but the age bracket that you're dealing with, and as we stated before, people are trusting email marketing, and they put their faith in that, that's a trustable thing. They signed up for it, they already opted in on their own, and they can rely that you're not spamming them. And of course, you have the codes and everything to track that,
Correct.
And they can go to your website and order those.
Yep.
Now, something else that people can really rely on, a loyalty program. I find that it's something that I always kind of fought off, because I figured, why should I be giving somebody a reward to come to my store when they're already coming to my store? I'm already getting full price out of them, so why should I be giving stuff away? Well, as times change and my customers change, we see that millennials expect to be acknowledged. that they feel entitled to be acknowledged, even if it's kind of like half of my staff, because I'm dealing with a lot of people from 16 to 25. And, you got to give them a gold star if the dishes are clean or something. And stuff when I started in the business, it would be like, are you a moron? You can't clean a dish. But now today, it's like you got to pat everybody on the head. And so when it comes to a loyalty program, that can be a very beneficial tool for us to just give a simple thank you to your customers. And there's different ways that we can do that. Now, Mike, can you tell the audience a little bit about your program?
So it's actually only for online ordering customers. So you spend $1, you get 2 points. So spend $200, you get 400 points, you get a free large pizza. It's automatic. It's emailed just like that to the customer. That on the transaction that you cross the 400 points, they get one of those. And then you just add it to your online order and you can redeem it.
So all this is generated basically through your POS system?
It's not. It's through my online.
Okay,
so
through
not
your
in
online
store.
ordering.
So yeah,
all right.
I don't have it. So I do an opt-in now at the store level, trying to get people to do it because a lot of people don't have. Well, there's just certain people that are never going to online order. So now we just have an opt-in at the store and we do it for them.
And was there a question back there?
Because because they're not integrated together. And sorry, and he asked why don't I integrate, or why isn't it together, right? Because I don't have them together.
And I think, did you remember what Mike said, how much higher his average ticket was online? It's
almost $10 more. It's
$10.
And when people redeem that, it's not just that pizza. I think people think like, hey, I can buy for everybody. So the orders are big, but they do include those. I never get just the free pizza because then obviously they have to pick it up because it's not a $10 order anyway.
Right. Yesterday we did a seminar on community roots and hospitality. And we found that some of the most powerful words that you can use with dealing with your customers, employees, anybody is just simple thank you, please, thank you. How about, smiling today once in a while? These little things that we can just incorporate into our daily interactions can make such a huge difference in the way that people respond to us, whether through orders or through how your workers are going to perform their job. And that's one thing that I really appreciated about Mike's email is that it starts out right there with the big thank you to his customer. And hey, when he's getting an extra $10 an order off of online, you can see why this is almost a no-brainer to do to engage your customers. Now, Mike, you also do some techniques that are what we used to call guerrilla marketing. Here's a lunch program that you had set up, and you want to tell us how this works?
So every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we just take a medium pizza, half pepperoni, half cheese. The manager goes out, we give him a bunch of menus, and we give him a pizza. And we just introduce ourselves, and we tell them we got lunch. If you see on the bottom there, that's the big one. Our lunches have grown. So we do anywhere from 4 to 1,000. And the store that does all that is a carry-out delivery only. But we offer a 3 or more deal. And then the 4th pizza's free on the first time. So they can redeem it. But we only make those good for like 15 days to make them come back right away.
Mike, I think there's a couple slides that I wasn't able to incorporate, but you had some other things in your notes about lunch programs. Do you remember? With the schools, I believe it was.
For
Let's go chat there.
lunch drops, it's nice.
Yeah, the lunch drops you had. How about working with local businesses?
Oh, yeah. The chamber. The chamber's free. I mean, you pay a yearly fee, but so I asked the chamber years ago, is there a way I can market that idea to all the businesses? I just asked a simple thing. So now they randomly select 3 people, and I give them a free pizza for pickup, and then they bring up a list. All their employees get 40% off the whole week, pickup, delivery, whatever they want. So I get a lot of people who don't ever eat there. Well, it helps the lunch. I guess I'm losing my train of thought here. We just offer that 3 or more, and then it gets a lot of people that come in at night and order from the lunches that they get during the day.
Yeah, and I've tried similar programs working with the Chamber. From the Chamber of Commerce, I can learn how many employees are in each business and what's worth it for me to try to go and get some more business. And then I'll contact the business manager or the HR manager of that business and say, hey, if I make you up some cards that each one of your employees can have, and it'll entitle them to maybe a 20% discount all for a certain week, I'll let you choose the week. I'll give you all the credit that you're the best boss ever and negotiated this deal, and you're rewarding your employees with this discount at my place. And all I'm asking of you is to insert this with their paycheck. Because as we said, that's when they got money, and that's when you want their money. And so a similar program to that, and that's worked pretty well for us. We try not to overdo it, do it only every other year, but it helps get people in the door, whether they're on their way home from work and want to use it, or as Mike's done, he's really built up his lunch business then. And it's also helped with my lunch business. We do a lot of big orders to different companies. We're starting to, the oil rigs and stuff are starting to come back to Western Pennsylvania, so that enables us to get a lot of bigger lunch orders. And so these ways to get people in the door are very, very helpful to us. Was there a question in the back for Mike? Go ahead.
I wanted to know, why don't you have any POS system?
I do. There's 2 different systems.
Yeah, 2 different systems. A lot of POSs now are integrated, so you can run it together. The way Mike's doing it, in my opinion, is a lot easier because your POS system in-house, for dine-in people, you usually don't get a phone number, and most POS systems are based on a phone number. And even calling orders, you get so many different people at so many different addresses using a cell phone number that it's crazy to know who to give the points to or where to send them to or who's going to redeem them. It's not like in the olden days when we had one phone in each house and one number and everything could get chalked up to, the Anthony family. But now, and I go over this with my employees all the time, that you have to verify the name, you have to verify the address, because I can call you from my cell phone anywhere, and you better know where to deliver it to. I might be at work, I might be at a friend's house, I might be in the backyard, so you have to do that. So what Mike's doing is really a very much easier and more streamlined way to do it. Any other, sir?
Yeah, you spoke about giving away a medium pizza, that guerrilla tactics. What made you decide the medium pizza? Because I had a discussion with the owner this morning. We spoke more about giving away a large pizza because pizza costs are reasonable anyway. So was there a reason why you chose a medium over personal?
Some of the places I go to, I feel like it was just a free lunch for that person and they didn't share it. So I figured that when I take it and it's smaller, I actually cut it to 12 slices too. I make them really small. And then I found out that people would eat it and they would actually call back and say, hey, you just dropped off that pizza. Can we get that deal? And I'm like, sure. And then I called the other stores. I was like, let's switch it now because it worked. So I was just testing it. So. Sure.
I think somebody asked me earlier about a new movers program, and I also use a medium pizza for a new movers program, even though it might be a whole family that moved into that house. But what I've done to increase the perceived value is I make it a medium pizza with anything you want on it. And our medium caps out at $13.99 if you would get all the toppings you want on it. So that really increased the value, the perception, and the hospitality extended to them. And like Mike said, medium's not going to go a real long way, so they're probably going to pick up something else or something extra on the way. And even with me offering something that's $13.99 in value, I'm usually only doing a 2-topping pizza for somebody. So they're not using the whole thing, but are still just as happy with the offer. Ma'am?
The Chamber of Commerce does some of them do welcome backs, and so you can put your coupon in that when you move in, and it's relatively either inexpensive or great.
Yeah, the Chamber of Commerce does have welcome wagons in some towns.
No welcome backs.
It's getting fewer and fewer chambers are doing that, and fewer businesses are participating in it. If you can do something on your own that stands out and you're the only one focused in there, it's really going to make a better impression. And I'm not knocking what you're doing with the Chamber of Commerce, because I would do that too. Our chamber just quit doing that, I don't know, probably 20 years ago, because nobody wanted to organize it. And what's that?
That's not just.
All right, so I've had pizza I've been in pizza for about 25 years. So, I don't know. I don't know. It feels like it's my whole life. So,
Hey, it's late.
it's late, I'm old, whatever. I don't care. Any other questions for Mike? I really wanted to highlight him because he does a lot of the older tactics that, you know, a lot of us overlook that because we got all this glittery social media going on and millennials are making such a big impact. But these methods are really tried and true. And Mike's, you know, living example of the success of that. One more question?
Yeah, question. What was your business before you started doing that lunch business?
$100, $200.
How long did it take? How many years did you do that?
You know, the chamber thing has been a 6-year thing. So I thought they would do it for me for like 6 months or something like that to go through all the. They've been doing it for 6 straight years now. So some of these people. So I mean, I know there's turnover. So apparently it works, but I'm not going to tell them to stop. So.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Mike, for sharing your ideas with us. Let's show some appreciation there. Just put it down there. Sorry, Miss Staples. This batteries are falling out. Okay. So finding the right marketing mix. Many businesses are depending on social media today to get their message out. And a lot of them have areas where there is a strong concentration of millennials and younger people, especially in a city area. I know for, you know, where I live in Punxsutawney, there's not a lot of job opportunities. There's not a lot in rural communities. So people move to the city for jobs, and these are the people that are following social media. So this, in this demographic, it makes sense. Just a couple things to consider with Facebook. You know, you're looking at ages 25 to 34. 10% more are women. I found it interesting that if you post between 1 and 3, that's when you can get your highest response rate. And Thursday and Friday, 18% higher response rate. And that shouldn't surprise any of us, because is Friday your busiest night? Yeah? Okay, mine too. Sir?
These numbers are from your business, or where are you getting these numbers?
They're not from my business. I had to research this before I put the part together. And if you want to email me, I can email you the reference material. Okay, if you're using Instagram, which seems to be even more popular with millennials, and as we said, you eat with your eyes, and you get that photo out there. Instagram is used by 31% of women, 24% of men, 32% of all people that are on the internet are using Instagram, and most Instagram users are ages 18 and 29. internet users 30 to 49. So that's where we kind of see that difference between whether you want to email or use social media. And 72% of teens use Instagram. Yesterday when we talked about community roots, we kind of really focused a little bit on working with youth groups and kids and stuff like that, because you want to sort of raise them to be your customer and reach out to them. So targeting this market of teens is really turning out to be a smart idea to get them away from the chains, away from the mass media and all that advertising, and to draw them in to your store. And then as they come of age and go to college and marry and someday have some disposable income of their own, then they'll come back to you. And what I've done today is we brought in Pete Tolman and Carrie Dumars, well, she's not our fiance, but she is the owner of this magic clicker and saved me here, so we owe her a lot. Pete, do you think you need Carrie to show you how to use that?
Yeah, absolutely. How do you do this? I'm Pete. I'm the owner. This is my fiance, Carrie. She markets for Ironborn, along with all of our beautiful pictures. We totally support the model of find somebody you know that's really good at taking pictures. Lucky for me, I went to high school with this kid. He was doing
Okay,
weddings.
so Pete, Carrie's got that on there for you. We're recording our session, and we want everyone to hear this because it's pretty important. Tell these guys how Ironboard started out, and we'll go into how you built this business.
Awesome. We took a small trip to Telluride, Colorado, and bumped into Brown Dog Pizza, where we tried Detroit-style pizza for the first time. So I learned about Detroit-style pizza in Colorado. I know that sounds odd, but that's how it happened. We were inspired by Jeff Smokovich, who's with Scott on on the World Champions team as well. And then we were the first private Detroit-style pizza business in the city of Pittsburgh, and they hadn't seen it, so they were excited to see it. And Carrie, who's my fiance, she right off the bat wanted to say, we need to focus in on pictures. We need to take the marketing serious. And lucky for me, the pictures that we bumped into, Jason and I, we went to high school. He was doing wedding receptions and engagement photos. And I said, hey, in Pittsburgh, I think you'd have a good shot at taking some nice photos. And then now he's being asked by James Beard nominated chefs to take pictures of their food. So Carrie has dominated the marketing for us, and she's going to do most of the talking.
So she's the brains, he makes the pizza. It's a great pair.
And all of the pictures that we do on this, all these pizzas are made in-house. This is how it looks. So for me as a chef, this is how we do it. We are very stern about making it look this nice and continuing to hold those standards so that if people walk in and see these photos, it's exactly what they expect.
Okay, so Carrie, you want to tell us a little bit about the principles that you follow when doing social media?
Sure. So when Ironborn first opened up about year and a half, almost 2 years, it'll be 2 years in June. There was this tendency, excitement to start an Instagram page, but, it was so busy opening the restaurant and just random iPhone pictures were being used. And there was a moment where I said, Pete, can you just let me take this part over? Because I do have an MBA in marketing and I do marketing in my full-time job. So once we did that, we got great pictures. And so every time I post, I think about these three things. Is the picture that I'm posting quality? Is the caption that I'm putting interesting? Or i.e., is it quality? Am I posting consistently? Whether that's time of day or consistent number of times throughout the week.
Oh, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think it's important for the audience to know that Pete didn't just pick Carrie because, she's pretty and he's marrying her and she has to keep her happy. But a lot of us pick people to do our Instagram or social media because it's your cousin Johnny and, he has 800 friends on Facebook and really dumb reasons. But Carrie is very qualified, and she says she has an MBA, and she knows what she's doing. I'm sure she just does it for free pizza. But if you can find someone, get somebody that really knows what they're doing and is following the industry, and try as hard as you can to do it right. I'm not saying you have to go out and pay a Instagram specialist, but let's get someone a little bit better than your nephew or your cousin.
If you're able to find that. She does have a full-time job, so she does focus very hard on this, but she spends most of her time not focused on pizza like me and Scott do, if that makes sense.
Okay, so I'm a professional, and but really, when we were starting this out, we wanted to have a point of view, have a presence on social media that was unique to our brand, because we're in the process of building our brand. So the language that you're using in your captions has to kind of all go. That's part of your messaging, right? So after consistency, obviously engagement. Social media is an engagement platform. So you're asking other people to follow you. Why do they want to follow you? Give them a reason to follow you. Reuse some of the content that they've generated. Collaborate with other local businesses and showcase that on social media, because that goes along with the whole engagement and community tribe aspect of it.
Sorry, I was taking pictures.
That's okay.
Okay.
So along with quality, I think we've already talked about it a lot here, but from day one, we hired Jason Waltenbaugh, who's done all of our photography thus far. And at a very early stage, this was February of 2018, this was a picture that got reposted by Zagat. So it got, over 2,000 likes and 51 comments on Zagat, which is pretty cool for a pizza shop that's only at that point been open for about a year. So, and obviously, like, not taken with an iPhone, the angle of the shot, everything about it is really beautiful. And then I didn't put what our caption was too, but under quality, I would really also emphasize, okay, it's a great picture, but what are you saying? You can't just say every day, like, hey, we're making pizza today, come get some, like, that gets boring, or people will stop. Why would people want to follow you if you're saying that? So, I put a lot of focus too on making the caption something people would want to hear.
Okay, I think you got a question up front here.
Sure.
Yeah, so maybe you can help, you can't have a professional photographer there every day. And so if you want to have consistent marketing and consistent content, how do you balance not having you're not going to get 10,000 of these pictures to
Yeah. So what we do in particular is when Jason comes in, it's a 2-hour photo shoot. We pay him. It really depends on his season and how busy he is. Sometimes he reaches out to us and he's like, you need pictures? And like maybe $250 this time. And we say yes. But most of the time it's like $350, and we'll get anywhere from 50 to 75 photos out of that. So 50 to 75 photos, if you're posting every single day, will get you through 2 months. Now, our position on frequency is to not post every day. And then with that engagement side of things, we really like to repost other people's content. So when you mix this library of professional photos that you have with user-generated content on a schedule, you can really make those work for a long time. And we really only do one photo shoot per season for the most part. Yeah.
Oh.
We actually, this pizza will stay with us forever. So we have this picture forever. It's not going to get any worse. We can reuse it if people don't remember it per se. I'm not saying we're going to do that, but things that stay on your menu that are staples, you're always going to have that library of pictures to come back to. And if she happens to be traveling or in Dubai or something, or can't get to a phone, I have access to these photos and I could post if she was in a pinch. And we don't normally do that.
I wanted to point out too, how many of you guys are familiar with Detroit style pizza? Have you ever had any? All right, not everybody. And Pete, you brought Detroit style pizza into a market that knew nothing about it.
I would recommend it.
So, what about this picture, Pete? Just look at some of the subtleties about this picture that helps educate people about what Detroit style pizza is all about.
So this took us a while to figure out, but it's anywhere from like 1.25 inches thick. We have a cheddar cheese crust line that is very popular and very, that's what people want, really. And then I tried to make this dough as light as possible, so you get that crisp bottom, super light top, and then the contrast on the edges. And then we also make everything we can in-house. These tomatoes are double roasted, marinated in garlic, olive oil, rosemary, thyme, tons of salt, tons of black pepper. I have lots of good people that work for us, and we try to build flavors. But this pizza will be on my menu for the rest of my life, and you guys can check it out.
Yeah, so a picture can really, it really is worth 1,000 words. It can tell a story. And so whatever you're trying to accomplish, your end goal when you take these pictures, get some of the little details right that people will pick up subliminally and learn about your product.
So moving on to consistency, I am no expert at social media in general or these algorithms that you'll hear people talking about, the Instagram algorithm and the Facebook algorithm. But there are a few key things that no matter where the algorithm's at, if you're doing this, you're going to be okay. The first one is posting at a time that's good for your customers. So most of our customers have expendable income, but are working. So 7 a.m. or 4 p.m., 7 a.m. is before they're going to work. They just woke up. They're kind of like just trying to wake up, looking through their feed, or, right when they're expecting to get off is when we found to get the most likes. But if your business is targeting an area where you have more stay-at-home moms, that actually might not be a good time because they're, sending kids off to school or picking them up. The number of posts per week, everyone feels kind of differently about this, but we don't want to overpost. One, because we run through our good content too fast, and that just puts more pressure on us. And two, we found that people just are more engaged with each post if we're only doing like 3 or 4 a week. So we go kind of quality over quantity. And then your whole feed, we found that, funny enough, people really like the pizza pictures better than anything else. So anytime we put a wing picture up, even though our wings are beautiful, beautiful full wings, they just don't get as many likes as the pizzas. Like people are following us to look at the pizzas. So we keep 90% of the photos of the actual pizza. So then on the engagement piece, there's a couple examples here of how we have engaged with our staff, with our customers, with charities. So on the top left, you'll see Pete there in the Forge Your Own Pizza, bid for a chance to forge your own pizza. That was Make-A-Wish Foundation reached out to us, and they have a auction every May. And they said, we'd love if you could donate some shirts or whatever. And we're always trying to think about how to be different. How do we make this interesting? Why would people want this? And so we thought, well, let's have our bid be, you can build a pizza with Chef Pete, and we'll put it on the menu. And then actually after that, we'll put, I think it was 10% of the proceeds went to Make-A-Wish it was for the whole summer. And it ended up being the whole summer. So anyone want to guess what that bid went at? And we were a pizza shop only, we weren't even a year open at this point. Close, but a little higher. It went for around $750. Yeah, I think it was like $740.
To work with Pete, you got $750.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was great for us because we're literally giving nothing to, we did. The sales of the pizzas went, but it was just a really cool way to, one, satisfy a need of our local charity, whose mission we very much believe in, to improve and bring joy to kids' lives. What doesn't do that more than pizza, And so that really hit it off, and it's coming up again. So, yeah.
Can you tell me who is the person that won the bid? Where did they fit in? Tell me about that. The person that put the $740 bid in. Was it a single guy, 24? Who?
Yeah, so
I don't need his name, just
it was actually bought as a gift for his name's Ben Cronman. He was a senior in high school, and his father is he might be on the board of Make-A-Wish. And so he was the winning bidder, and he gifted it to his son, who had been a volunteer for Make-A-Wish for his whole high school career. So all of the Make-A-Wish staff was so excited to see that he would be the one to build the pie. And it was just very meaningful for that Make-A-Wish section.
what kind of pie did he build and how were the sales for the pie?
So he made a shishito pepper, ricotta, and mugo pine sauce, and it sold really well. Yeah, because shishito peppers are kind of trendy, and the way that process worked was, okay, he sent a couple ideas of things that he liked. Like he wanted a stuffed pepper pizza, and we said, "Oh, have you ever thought about shishitos?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, I really like shishitos." And so we brought him in, and we just kind of like made some pizzas, and it was pretty fun. And he continued. Now he's in school in Atlanta, but every time he comes home, he buys like 10 pizzas off of us, which is pretty sweet. So, yeah, no problem. So social media is also a way to engage with our employees. Shout out to Ethan Davis and the Mike's Hot Honey out there who competed this morning, first time. That is actually Ethan on May 4th last year. And so I'm saying it's not just about engagement of your clients, it's also engagement with your staff, making it fun for them and reposting content that they come up with. We obviously love that one. The couple that you see in the 2 t-shirts, the one in the bottom left was kind of the first one that we ever awarded a t-shirt to. We just, as an appreciation for posting and tagging us, we didn't promote this, by the way. It was just, hey, we really liked your picture. If you would like a shirt, we would give it to you. But then if you would like to wear that shirt, we would take a picture of you in it and post it. Because we kind of steer away from any of the big contest things. We want to keep it about the pizza and the people. So she was the first one we did that to. And then obviously it carried on to others as well. And that was a pretty cool campaign that we did. The one bottom one in to the right with the jalapeno peppers, that's actually our coffee pie. So we're pretty good friends with the coffee shop that operates in the food court that we're in, Commonplace Coffee. And then also my dad has this bomb barbecue sauce recipe with coffee in it. So I said, Pete, you really got to find a way to use this coffee barbecue sauce recipe. And he did, but like kind of one-upped it by collaborating with the Commonplace Coffee on that. So that was a cool collaboration there. We've done beer dinners. That one's from a brewery called Dancing Gnome. They actually developed a beer just for our beer dinner. It's called Canbrusco, like Lambrusco, but a can of it, and it was a beer. And then...
I just wanted to say, like, I copied you.
That's the biggest form of flattery.
Pete invited me down for some beer pairing dinner, and I thought it was just really cool to introduce a new pizza and to pair it with something. And I thought it was a great time. It was educational. It was good food. It was just a great night out. And so I did copy your idea. And I got a huge response from it. My dinner sold out overnight. We had a tremendous time. Everybody posted pictures on social media, and those were some of my most popular posts of this kind of engagement. And while we didn't have a brewery that would work with us, or what made it really great was it was the local Home Brewers Association. It's all these guys that usually trade me pizza for beer. And we just kind of did it once again, only we made some money at it because we charged people to attend. And it was just an awesome time. And this is just a great idea of getting into your community and getting the word out to different people.
And it's a change up from our day to day because Ethan and I do have a very boring life of all we do is pizza. So from 8 to 5 to 8 to 8, all we're doing is pizza. So this is a good way for all of us to be like, hey, we do know how to make pasta. We do know how to drink wine and beer and have fun and laugh. So why don't we, make that happen? And again, ours sold out in a day and a half, 65 people, and the tickets were $65. So do the math real quick and it's nice. These guys are very popular though. So Dancing Gnome is known for New England IPAs, hazy IPAs. They have like 20,000 followers. We maybe have 7. So it was like hitting a gold mine. So we got lucky.
Do you have a question?
Yeah, kind of two. One is what your thoughts are on, because like right now I'm very small. You guys probably figure out how you get somebody to put stuff, post stuff. But if you don't have the time or if you just have multiple accounts, my thought is Facebook is probably where to go. But what your thoughts are on that?
So the question is where, if you're time or resource constrained, what is the best route to go in terms of platform, Instagram or Facebook or something else? I would honestly say Instagram, because I feel like it's easier to create quality content within Instagram. The filters are better. There's more consistent engagement, but that's also kind of biased because we didn't develop on Facebook first. We kind of think of Facebook afterwards. So that I just find if you're time constrained, like I'm time constrained and I'm keeping up with this sometimes is a bear, like just sitting at night. What do I write for this post? But ultimately, I find Instagram as a platform to be much easier to use. And you can also plan posts within the app. So not within a third party. You can plan things in the app. And that also really helps with time within Instagram. Yep.
It'll drop at like a Monday, a Wednesday, and a Friday. If you would schedule it. Yeah, there are ways to do that. We don't
I knew that there are like apps that do that, but I didn't know that.
I don't schedule them, but I'll queue up content with all the hashtags and what I want to say. And within Instagram, you can actually see where those are. Like it doesn't erase it if you go back. You go to save draft. I can show you real quick if you want afterwards.
Sorry, the other person has person. Sorry. You said 90% pizza. And that's kind of where you're mixing some other stuff with your people. And then what do you think, like just your own pictures, like?
Well,
pictures of us, pictures of Pizza Expo.
Every once in a while, pictures of staff, like Ethan and the Darth Vader, but Pete's hair is so good that it's usually of Pete. So, did anyone else have a question?
I am a visual person, so Instagram is important to me because we can display our pizzas better. That's how I feel.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
And I think it's doing a great job, but then you can find a social media agency to do the same consistency and quality for you. Should your agency the same job.
I do, honestly. Yeah. And we just haven't because, I can still do it, but I do believe there's other people. And, it's always with anything creative, it has to evolve to stay interesting. So sometimes it can actually be better when you get the right person that still understands what you want to do as a brand, isn't going to put a totally different voice onto your messages. But yeah, there's very talented people out there that can do it.
Yeah, we're going to have to move on to the next slide.
Video and all, is it mostly just still photographs?
Mostly still photographs, but a little bit of video.
What do you find your video content usually covers?
The beer dinner.
Beer dinner?
We
Okay.
got a video
Yeah.
guy for our girl actually. She did the beer dinner and then
Okay.
she did like a minute 30 video. So if you get on our Instagram, Ironborn Pizza, you'll see the different videos we do as well.
Right.
And you'll kind of see the little content. So it'll be like pizza, 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 and then a random picture of pizza, pizza, chicken wings, pizza, pizza.
And I'll have to ask that we kind of
Speed
move
it up.
on
Yep.
because
Okay.
everybody's going for beer.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. Well, we do. We want to go too.
Okay.
Okay, so just a couple comments. We just opened up a store in Millvale, which is a small suburb right outside of Pittsburgh. This is it. And there's a couple things that we changed since opening Millvale. The biggest thing was we went through a rebranding. You'll notice on the back of these, this is our old logo. was great. All we had to pay for it was a nice steak dinner. But we needed something that was a little more refined and professional. In the Square with the hand forged pizza, we make Square pizza. So the second thing is we are doing more Facebook, because basically one of our employees that we hired said, Millvale Peeps is talking about you. I'm like, what is Millvale Peeps? And it's just a community group in Millvale. So people in Millvale are much more active on Facebook. So we're trying to also reflect that now.
Similar demographic to Punxsutawney.
Right.
Yeah, and that goes back to your question too. When if you want to know what to use, Instagram or Facebook, you really got to look to the demographics and see what your market responds to. One test that I use is when I do an Instagram post, I'll click, to go into Facebook too, and I'll watch and see which gets more engagement when, and then it kind of balances me out. And plus, it gives a consistent message over both platforms.
Yep.
Can you briefly talk about hashtags?
So hashtags, we use them. I think you can use up to 30. What I do is once I find the hashtags I like, I make a Google document and I finish writing my post. But then before posting it, I go back to my Google Doc, copy, paste it into the account, because the key here is to reuse the same hashtags frequently. But if I post chicken wings, I might not want to put as many of the pizza hashtags here. So I'll just go in one by one in that case and just sprinkle in a couple chicken wing hashtags in there. So basically, yeah, we use social media to tell people and build our brand, and it's always evolving. And social media is a good way to bring your customers along with that evolution, because you're kind of telling the whole story. And just wanted to give a shout out to some of the people that we use. These are their pictures on Instagram. So if you want to follow them, Jason Walt Photo is the guy that does all of our beautiful photos. Aaron Panosian is the one that does all of our video. And then our rebranding was done by Top Hat, and talking about like keeping it local collaborations. They're actually like around the block. They're less than a half a mile from our Millvale location. So that's the marketing agency we use. Well, they did not yet. Nope. Yeah. These
more expensive steak there.
Yeah. So yeah.
Well, I really want to thank Carrie and Pete for being here.